This is Awesome St. John, Jason, the original Red Ranger. You are watching the Morphin Network.
This Morphin Network video is sponsored by Ranger Stop Convention and Ranger Stop and Pop. Have you ever wanted to see all your favorite Power Rangers together in one epic convention? Go to Ranger Stop! Ranger Stop and Pop! August 27th to the 29th, 2021! Atlanta, Georgia! Ranger Stop 8! November 11th to the 14th! Orlando, Florida! Get your tickets now! Carson's Corner is a black LGBTQ-owned small business. They sell merchandise and apparel on pop culture franchises such as Dragon Ball, King of the Hill, Sailor Moon, and of course and most importantly, Power Rangers. If you're interested in getting their amazing merch, be sure to check them out at carsoncorner.com. Link will be down below.
What an episode this was. What an episode. And not just any episode. This episode is a milestone. That's right. We are reviewing the 1,500th episode of Kamen Rider. I'm not kidding here. There have been 1,500 episodes of this franchise, and we're celebrating here and now on its 50th anniversary. I mean, it's not as perfectly timed as O's was when we had the 1,000th episode on the day of the 40th anniversary. But still, can you imagine your favorite show reaching this benchmark while not being a daily show like Shortsville, Shortland Street, because that's a daily show. Of course, there's going to be 10,000 episodes, but this is a weekly show, and it had several hiatuses, and we made 1,500 episodes in this franchise. Hello, everyone. This is Time Rider Zero. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and of course, today we are reviewing Kamen Rider Saber, episode 46. Goodbye, my hero. That's right. This was a very emotional episode. Plot-wise, it's pretty much the penultimate episode, but in terms of actual production, it's actually the anti-penultimate episode because there's going to be an extra episode after the story concludes. I'm not a fan of that. It kind of kills my groove because, for the past few seasons, we actually got to have proper conclusions, like 01 and the final episode ended the story. Geo ended the story on its final episode. Build ended its story on the final episode. X-Aid, yes, for the most part, yes it did. Ghost, not so much. But the point is, it's been a good 5 years, 5 consecutive years of seasons where the final episode was the actual episode the story concludes on. So it's kind of weird, and it throws me in my groove. And I am feeling a little bit emotional because we've been doing this on the YouTube side of things. We've been doing this for a year now, year and a half on the Facebook side. And, it just feels weird that we're finally reaching full circle. And so, everyone, Facebook, YouTube, comment section, let us know what you thought of the episode and let us know what you think about the whole milestone of reaching so many episodes of this momentous franchise. Okay, so obviously, my partner couldn't make it because it's a Sunday, and Sundays are where your Sunday best days. So, So don't worry, he left a recording. We will play it. But let's get on with the episode. So where we last left off, Toma was running towards Storius while the other riders were fighting off the four sages. So next thing we got is May finds Luna lying on the floor, almost unconscious and slowly fading away. Of course, we realize that this is the approach towards the end of the world. Meanwhile, Toma reaches Storius, but he's easily taken out by him, telling him that all his works are futile. What does it feel knowing that you absolutely have no free will? What is it like knowing that every single triumph and miracle you have pulled off was predestined? It had nothing to do with any work on your part. It was all already there in the book of omniscience. And since the end of the world is also within it, why do you persist in trying to fight us? Why are you trying to create the illusion that you can change your destiny? And of course, Toma says, because we choose to. We choose our own destiny, and we will prove it by defeating you and saving the world. Of course. Unfortunately, okay, so good news is Tetsuo barely manages to pull himself back up in order to help Ogami fight the second of the four sages. And of course, this creates an opportunity for Rintaro to run up ahead. So the two of them, they morph and try their best to hold them off. But unfortunately, the only way they were able to defeat the second sage is for Ogami to pull off a Goku versus Raditz. That's right. Tetsuo is Papa Piccolo, and unfortunately, that ended up killing Daddy Ogami, or at least so he becomes unconscious. So is he dead? Is he unconscious? I hope he's unconscious because we'd be rioting if he isn't. Meanwhile, the Shindais are also struggling because despite having the powers of smoke and time, they cannot fight against an opponent that could deflect their attacks against them. And what's impressive is that the third sage was even able to use a combination of their attacks by using a time trap with a spider's web in order to create what is essentially a cage of destruction that they could not escape from. So, of course, Rintaro offers to help the two of them, but they said, no, we got this. What are you doing? Go help Toma. Like, we got this. Go help Toma. And he's like, well, okay then. And he runs off. So the two of them desperately struggle to fight him. But unfortunately, despite their best efforts, Reika gets stabbed in the back by two rapiers after her sneak attack has failed using her smoke clones. And unfortunately, when Ryoga tried to fight back against him, his entire trident was sliced in half, and then he got rapier jabbed so hard that he's being lifted up by the repeated thrusting. It's crazy. Like he's basically turning it into Swiss cheese, and there's nothing that he nor Reika could do about it. However, while the sage is distracted, trying to severely injure, if not straight up murder, Ryoga, Reika, in an act of desperation, takes her sword and one half of the Durandal blade, and she stabs the third sage with both blades, pressing against the wall. And of course, this does defeat him, but unfortunately, she was caught in the blast, and the concussion wave pretty much knocked her out. And of course, they did try to do that reach for each other's hands from Mars attacks, but of course, we all know what happens when the stupid sexy Shindais, hashtag stupid sexy Shindais, are not able to, just like in the movie Mars Attack. So moving on. So we got Kento and Ren trying to fight the final of the four sages, but they also get demolished as well. Now, of course, both Luna and May realize that they're both slowly disappearing, and this means that but however, they're not going to let this falter them because they both know they have a mission to do. So Luna tries to go towards the tower where Story is waiting, while May goes back to the bookstore. So Stories recounts his backstory. So finally, we're gonna find out what is his deal. So way back when he had crazy awesome ideas for poems. He thought he was making amazing poems, really clever and beautiful things. But then when he finally read the Book of Omniscience, he realizes that, oh my god, all my poems are already in here. I didn't even come up with my own ideas. They were just given to me. All I did was transcribe them on paper. And I'm like, what? Really? That's why you became evil and corrupted your two best friends? Because you got upset that your work is derivative? Really? I mean, let's be honest. After William Shakespeare, everyone's work is derivative. Deal with it. Can you imagine? Can you imagine how salty? Can you imagine how salty George Lucas could have been if somehow he did not know until later on that Star Wars was based off of the Odyssey? Let's see, the Odyssey, Yojimbo, Flash Gordon, King Arthur. Can you imagine what it would have been like if J.K. Rowling found out that Harry Potter is derivative of Cinderella, except the ball, except the prince's ball scene just happens to stretch out for 9 months, and honestly, whoever wrote Aragon, or at least the movie version, you definitely don't have an excuse because you blatantly ripped off Star Wars. The only difference between Aragon and Star Wars is that instead of attaching R2 to an X-wing, R2 is an X-wing, and then Luke gets to pilot a sentient X-wing, and somehow if Luke dies, the X-wing also gets destroyed. But that's the only difference. Can you imagine how sad and terrible the world would be if people got upset that their work is derivative of someone else's work? And we all have Shakespeare to blame for that, because let's be honest, at this point in time, everything's derivative of one of his 37 plays, 3 short stories, and 154 plays. No, sonnets, 154 sonnets, 37 plays, and 3 short stories. And of course, Tom was like, seriously, you gotta be kidding. This is why you're upset. Look, man, here's let me lay some truth on you, my guy. So you're upset that your story is not original, but check this out. You get to live your own life. You get to be original just by the fact that you get to read stories and feel inspired by them, and you get to live out the adventure by reading books. I mean, when I was a kid, I didn't have any friends. All I had was reading stories, and that was what kept me happy. And then I ended up making friends, and they ended up loving me because I was able to share stories with them. And then when I became a knight, I was being a story writer, I was able to make even more friends than that. Storius, you're such a cheap asshole, man. You thought you have to have some crazy ego to want to end the world just because your work is derivative. Of course, we got Luna and Yuri trying to get to the tower, but unfortunately, they're both slowly dying out because of the world collapsing into itself. Of course, May goes into the bookstore, and she starts writing an email. Meanwhile, her with the manuscript of Toma's new book in hand, and of course, she starts writing the email, but her hand is also slowly disappearing. Of course, Stories had enough of Toma's friendships talk, so he's like, okay, this is our final battle. I'm gonna go full Sephiroth Henshin, my guy. And of course, he becomes Kamen Rider Grimoire. And of course, Toma becomes crossing Saber flame dragon form. and of course they have their fight at first, and of course Grimoire creates a bunch of clones of himself, but he's able to get rid of all them. Get rid of all of them using what is essentially a Beyblade move, and of course by using the power of all 10 swords, Toma is able to counter against all of Grimoire's abilities, including using the Buster Blade as a shield, using both Caliber and Psycho swords in order to use their combined crossing attack. He was able to mutilate a bunch of vines by using Kenzan's Shuriken form, and of course he finishes his attack combination by using both the Ikazuchi and Nadare blades of his two best friends, of course. And of course, May is almost finished writing an important email to a bunch of people, asking them to remember their fondest stories, and she's slowly disappearing. And of course, she's not the only one disappearing, because as the Wonder World is disappearing, so is everyone's Wonderite books. Of course, Toma manages to use his crossing sword in order to stop the spread of the virus, and by virus I mean the end of the world. So they have a moment of being able to recover from it. But of course, Toma is demorphed. He is pushed against a pit where, much like Samurai Jack, his sword ends up falling into the bottomless pit, and then he gets kicked over by Storius. Will Toma be able to pull an Obi-Wan Kenobi and master the low ground? Find out next time on the penultimate episode of Kamen Rider Saber. And of course, that's the end of the episode. That was episode 46. Goodbye, my hero. What'd you guys think of the episode? Let us know in the comments. Okay, first things first. Let's hear what my missing partner has to say about it.
So, my review of this episode of Kamen Rider Saber. Oh, you thought I was joking? You think this is a game? If he dies, we riot, Toei. If he dies, we riot. Alright? But no, on the real, perfect 10. I don't know. Honestly, if you want my opinion, because at the time of this episode going out, the final episode's out right now, which we'll be reviewing next week. Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen. I honestly do think that Power of Friendship's going to win at the end, but it is what it is. We'll see Toma go Ultra Instinct, and that's pretty much it. I don't know what's going to happen. This episode's a perfect 10, though. I love the story, and low-key, May is about to pretty much help save the world. So even though May's not a Kamen Rider, and we know May got robbed, she played her part perfectly. So 10 out of 10. I don't know what Mike's finna say about it, but let's just face it, my review's more important because I'm not here. I'm joking. But we riot. Back to you, Mike.
Viva Buster. Okay, no, but seriously though, Buster has to survive. Okay, but for real though, what I actually thought of the episode. It was really good, very climactic. It feels like we're stretching things just a smidge because I know stuff is gonna happen next episode, which I haven't watched yet. But I feel like they rushed a little bit a few episodes ago, because we could have had a really good episode 48. And if you really think about it, on the other hand, if we shortened a few things a little bit, we could have ended the entire story completely on episode 46. Like I said, they could have way back when, before they announced that there will definitely be exactly 48 episodes. Again, I'm still not a fan of the fact that there is going to be an epilogue episode. No, but the fighting was great. I love the strategies used by all the characters. I love the counter attacks. I love the way they were using combination. I love the tension that everyone is slowly fading away. There is drama. I find it interesting how Stories is basically Loki because he's a prima donna, because he's like, oh, I want my works to be original, and yet somehow it's pre-written, therefore it's not original. My work is derivative, and therefore the world has to end. I'm sorry, man. Dude, you live in a post-Shakespeare world. You all of your work will be derivative of something else at this point in time. There's nothing you can do about it. Just deal with it. Just get your poems copywritten. Get some of that royalty money, cash it in, have a good day. Don't why destroy the world when you could just contribute to it like Toma does. See, Toma doesn't care. Like he just wants to make people happy, and I appreciate that. Anyways, I give the episode a 10 out of 10. I think the arc is not a perfect score overall, just because of the pacing, and we haven't went arc by arc in a while because the arcs just blend in too much. But we'll break it down a little bit more in 2 weeks. But of course, next week, by which I mean this upcoming week, because it's already Sunday, we will review episode 47. Other than that, happy 1500th episode. And that is my review. Okay, so on to the comments. Facebook, YouTube, comment section. Let us know what you think of the let us know what you think of the episode. What do you think will happen in the next 2 episodes? And here we go. I can't believe Saber's nearly over. Foolish Arthur warrior wielding a magic sword. Oh no, 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 no! No more Samurai Jack references. Because Greg Baldwin could sue someone. No, seriously though, like he's a nice guy. I don't think he will, but still. But yeah, the pit where like the sword fell into it, that was clearly a Samurai Jack reference. And let's hope Toma learns how to use the low ground. Okay, let's see. Parathamesh says, "Hi guys, hello Parathamesh, nice to meet you." Let's see. If Hasbro makes Master Rider Saber, would you think that Steven Skyler will cast as Master Logos, just like his Sentai counterpart actor? I don't know if they're going to keep the same villains or anything, but I'm going to say this. If they ever did adapt Saber and they did keep Master Logos as a character, and Steven Skyler did end up playing Master Logos, I'm going to laugh my butt off so hard. I'm going to laugh so hard. It's like how it's kind of like when you have a Japanese voice actor and an American voice actor play the same 2 characters on 2 different shows. So it's kind of funny when that happens. Yes, 1500 episodes. I counted it myself at the beginning of the season. Just in case, you could either do it by hand from season to season, like 98 plus 52 plus 35 plus 24 plus 39 plus 54 plus 48 plus 51 plus 47 plus the ZX episode because it counts. Or you could just skip straight to Kamen Rider O's episode 28, which is 1000, and count upwards from there. Whichever you prefer. I did the math. It's definitely 1500 episodes. What will be your predicted dream Sentai team for the 45th anniversary movie? Mine would be Ryu Soul Green, Sasori Orange, Kirame Pink, Pataron 3 Sango, and Lupin X. Okay, I'll say this. I very much miss the traditional red, blue, green, yellow, pink Ranger colors. I mean, we did get that in Kira Majors, but not the way we usually do, because they did the whole female Green Ranger thing that season, and I think they kind of used that for Dino Fury. But one thing I really want is definitely have one member from each team. And combined they would have the 5 base colors. I remember I had an idea as to which 5 Rangers it would be, but I forgot what it was. But the benefit of Lupin versus Pat is that you can have 2 Rangers from the same season because they're technically 2 different Ranger teams. All I know for sure is that I want Hasbro to adapt Zyuohger. I want there to be a 10th anniversary reunion of Super Mega Force, and I want them to do that scene where they morph into from Zyuohger, where they morph into Dino Charge Pink, a Ninja Steel Blue, and Beast Morphers Yellow. Except instead of Tokyo Yongo, they would turn it. Jake would turn into Dino Fury Green, because that way we have 4 consecutive teams from American Power Rangers, and you still have the same Ranger colors, and you could go back to using the male Dino Fury suit, because remember, Izzy did get rid of the skirt, so let's see. Diavolo got aura. No. No. Diavolo did not get aura. He got muda. Ah, God, I can't do it right now. I just drank some power juice. Okay, he got muda. Let's be honest. Giorno Giovanna is more Dio than he is Jonathan. He may have Jonathan's sense of justice, but he's a Brando through and through, and therefore what's it called? Gold Experience would go Muda. Okay, but yes, finally someone got the JoJo reference I've been making since episode 32. Actually, no, since episode 39. No, 29. I'm a hack. Time for an apocalypse. Yep. He's pre-Shakespeare. I don't care if he's pre-Shakespeare. The point is, everyone in real life is post-Shakespeare, and everyone post-Shakespeare is derivative. Okay, let's be honest. And who's to say there wasn't some ancient Egyptian / Atlantean counterpart that Storius was being derivative of? Let's be honest. Okay, Battle Royale equals Hunger Games. Okay, I disagree with this because Okay, Battle Royale is Japanese catching fire. Hunger Games Japanese counterpart is Kamen Rider Ryuki, because it's a simple free-for-all between 13 teams. But in Battle Royale, there's an actual clock/grid system that ended up being used in Catching Fire. So if we're gonna compare the derivatives between Japanese post-apocalyptic teens killing each other's versus American literature of similar plots, let's be more accurate in which ones they're ripping off. Quote unquote. Okay, moving on. When you mentioned Harry Potter, there's another story similar to it. The Worst Witch, except all the characters are girls. Yeah, but again, Cinderella. Because what's it called? Because Harry has to live with his evil step family, and then he ends up going to the ball, which is Hogwarts. The only difference is that instead of the clock striking midnight, and the clock strikes June, because it's a 9-month-long ball, and of course he almost dies a bunch of times, but that's part of the party. Okay, let's see. Isaac might be evil, but I'm worse. I'm petty. Yeah, that's true. Okay, let's see. The animation for the swords and their attacks are so freaking awesome. Yes, they are. 10-hit combo to use in fighting game terms. Yeah, yep. Soto ekisai ekisai takanao ekisai kokoro ga michibik. Okay, I'm done. Okay, I hope Tomo's okay. Don't worry, he will learn the low ground. Just like Obi-Wan Kenobi. He's the master of the low ground. Foolish author wielding a magic sword face. Oh my god, this again. This again. Okay, we Kamen Rider right. Kamen Riot. Kamen Riot. Kamen Riot. Okay. Are you excited for Kamen Rider Revice? Oh, I'm definitely excited for Revice. I already have the belt on lock, the anniversary version. Okay, Astorius, I so want to take. Oh, okay. Taking earrings off. That does not sound very appealing when someone says they want to take their earrings off. 20th anniversary of Agito. Yes, it is, and of course that also means that there's going to be a CSM for that. Let's see, a 9.8 out of 10. High 6, low 7. Okay, if it's the series overall, I get that because one of the biggest problems with the series is the pacing. Let's see. Let's see. My combined team of Power Rangers Super Sentai would be Bridge, Koda, Xander, Kuraga, Stinger, and Shiguru. You know, I like Bridge. Bridge is fun. I wish he got to hang out with Xander. It would have been adorable. No, wait, him with Chip, but I also like Xander, so. But Bridge would totally be hanging out with Chip, though, because they're both nerds. What would yours be? I think we went over this. Shakespeare is omnitone confirmed. Yes. Yes, it is. Yo. Actually, if you really think about it, because Shakespeare's historicals are like 10 episodes that have a chronology to them, but he did not write them in order. You could say that Shakespeare wrote a trilogy and then went back to the prequels and then did the sequels before George Lucas and J.J. Abrams did, because he did the Henry V and then he went back to the fourths and then went back down to Henry VI. And of course you're gonna finish things off with Richard III, and then you got Henry VIII. Richard III is my personal favorite. Just saying. And never in my wildest dreams as a kid would I think that a historical would be my favorite play, and yet here we are. Not gonna lie though, when I was a teenager, I thought it was a tragedy because I didn't know historicals was a third genre. I thought anything that wasn't comedy was a tragedy, but here we are, three genres forming the written trinity. Actually, what'd be interesting? What if there was a movie exclusive? What if there were like movie exclusive Magids based off of Shakespeare, where instead of being mythical creatures, animals, fairy tales, it would be based on Shakespeare, where it would be like comedy, historical, tragedy. That would have been interesting. That would have been very interesting. Okay. Okay, let's see. People talking about video games. Okay, final comment. Favorite writer this season. Okay. I'm still gonna go with Tetsuo because he's just adorable. I love Tetsuo. That's why he's the one writer I got the sword of other than Toma's, because Toma. But technically I do already have 4 of the swords, since I got the guards for Lion Senki and Aladdin, for Lamp of Aladdin, because I wanted to complete the set. I wish I had 2 spare swords though, so I could put them in and have 2 friends be the knights. But it is what it is. But I am also getting the 2 Shindai swords, so there's that. Let's see. Mine is Rentaro or Disaster. Well, keep in mind, Disaster is basically Venom, and Venom is adorable. So, how can you not like Disaster? Okay, any idea when is Superhero Senki Blu-ray will be released? I don't know. Maybe in 3 months. Who knows? I'm still contemplating whether or not I should have gotten the Wonderite book that it comes with. Let's see. When will Revise be released? Well, that's easy. It's September 5th. We already went over this. It'll be the week right after Saber ends. Minus Toma, and as of recent memory, Ren. Of course, Ren is your favorite because he went from being Joel Schumacher, Chris O'Donnell, to being NCIS Chris O'Donnell. And that's it for the comments. I hope you all had a wonderful day. And I will see you guys in actually a couple of days. Hopefully by Friday this week. No promises. Friday or Saturday, we're going to do episode 47. And yeah, can't believe it. Only 2 more episodes of Saber left to review before we get started on Revise. In any case, have a good day, everyone. Bye.
Okay, enemies of justice. Henshin.
The first enemy the writers have faced was the organization Shocker, who have re-emerged on multiple occasions.
Get On were the first enemies to come from an ancient civilization, and Crisis Empire were the first to come from space.
Amazon was the first writer to fight against multiple villain organizations during the season's run.
Kamen Rider Ryuki was the first season to have the writers team up with the very monsters they fought against, while Fives was the first writer to be the same species as the enemy.
Kamen Rider Decade was the first writer to also be the leader of the villain organization he fought against, while Geo had to fight monstrous versions of past writers and prevent himself from becoming the ultimate evil.
I'll see you all next time.
Carson's Corner is a black LGBTQ-owned small business. They sell merchandise and apparel on pop culture franchises such as Dragon Ball, King of the Hill, Sailor Moon, and of course and most importantly, Power Rangers. If you're interested in getting their amazing merch, be sure to check them out at carsoncorner.com. Link will be down below.
Today's Morphin Network video is sponsored by Ranger Stop and Pop, which is now August the 27th to the 29th, 2021 in Atlanta, Georgia. And Ranger Stock Convention, which is now November 11th to the 14th, 2021 in Orlando, Florida. Go to rangerstop.com for more info.